Okay, so this is also supposed to be the first episode of lab work. Where I'm going to be doing. So for this first episode, pretty much my plan is just kind of to talk about like what is this mode for? Like what do you actually do in the lab? What do you actually do in the lab? A lot of people so I'm gonna start with some fucking real talk right now. A lot of people underuse training mode outright. Most people do not fucking know how to use this mode. Uh, this is an unusual mode. If you think about a fighting game, it's an unusual mode because it's open-ended. Like when you play a match, it's pretty straightforward what you do in the match. Like you just try to kill the other guy, and they're trying to kill you at the same time. It's pretty straightforward. But in training mode, you could do whatever you want. But most people don't understand what whatever you want means, you know? So what most people tend to use training mode for is to learn their B&Bs, practice their rushdown, practice setups that people tell them, and practice hard combos. Like 4 things. That's pretty much it. But you can do a lot more of that. So pretty much once people do those 4 things, they are done. They just move on. They just play matches. Once in a while, they'll go back to learn like a new combo or a new setup, but they don't really actively use this mode. Now, the thing is, if you have a reflective perspective on your play, so as in, you're the type of person who you'll play a match, win, lose, whatever. You'll look at it and be like, oh, what should I do about this? Or, wow, I always do this, and sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. What should I do? Then training mode is for you. This is when you're going into like the higher level usage of training mode that I kind of want to share with you. So this is pretty much what does this mean? It means problem solving. So training mode is a problem solving tool. It's a nice open-ended problem solving tool. You can literally do almost anything in this mode. So what can you do in total in the lab? Right? Outside of the 4 things I said before, there's a big number 5, which is recreating situations and experimenting with situations, and then number 6 would be development. So what I meant by what I said before about like practicing combos, learning new combos, that's the assumption that you're learning that from other people. Development is coming up with your own stuff based on your needs. If you're at that point, you're in pretty deep. You're in pretty deep. So if you're at a certain level and you feel like you're not doing training mode enough, you kind of need to step back and be like, oh, do I myself have any problems that I can like try to solve? Because you won't solve those problems so easily in a match. Like once in a while you'll be playing and someone's doing something and you notice it and you'll be like, man, I should try this, and that thing worked and you're like, yes, I figured it out in a match. But that could take a long time actually. Let's say the researcher type, they'll see that same thing, they'll notice that same thing, they'll be like, man, I don't really know what to do about this. They'll go into training mode and recreate the situation and then figure out a bunch of stuff they could do and how practical it is to do, the return of all that stuff, and then they can assess the risk of all that stuff, and they have a much more complete understanding of that situation to take back to their next game. So that's actually pretty good. So I picked Soul for the wrong reason. Any questions before I move on real quick? I actually wanted to definitely talk about that before I did anything. Where is oh, Leo's fine. Leo is fine. So first, the one that everyone knows is combo practice, right? So, for example, this is a combo that I see no other Melee players do. I do this pretty regularly. I do this. Oh, see, I can't even do it because I'm not warmed up. Hey. Wow, this is nice. Melee changes as ambiguous as Melee set play. Hey, we'll know in a little bit. That's like a medium difficulty Melee combo, in my opinion. I don't think it's very hard. A new Melee player cannot do that right away, but if you've been playing Melee for a while, you should be able to do that with a little practice. And you do have to practice this kind of stuff. Oh shit, my controller! Okay, there we go. You do have to practice that kind of stuff. That's fine. That's really straightforward, and most people do that. Like when you're starting, like you learn your B&B, like this is our B&B. Ooh, like woo, this is your B&B. Right? You learn your B&B and stuff. This is like the most basic thing you do in training mode is just combo practice, and it is necessary. I'm never going to look down on combo practice. It's very necessary. You need it. You fucking need to do combos to win. Like you need to do combos to do damage and get your situation going. That's totally fine. And you can do combos of like all like B&Bs, situational, blah blah blah, right? Two would be offense practice. So that's like pressure and setups. So in Millia's case, like we all know, like oh, set it and forget it, set it and forget it, and like oh, this is a string I can use. This is a string I can use, or like that's a string I can use. That also doesn't take. So one takes a lot of time. One does not take so much time. So practicing your rush down, your outright rush down. So when I say offense, I mean rush down, which is pressure. It's like so like you're boop boop, like boop 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 boop, like that's to me is offense. So at that, you don't take too much time overall on offense. It's not that hard to figure out your offense, depending on your character. You might have someone like Venom who is a little bit more intricate, or Zato who's a little bit more intricate, or you could have someone like Soul who's just like frame trap, frame trap, frame trap, frame trap, pretty simple. You just take the time to learn your frame traps. Maybe like down the line you realize that one character has their fastest move is slower than everyone else's, so you can do this thing. Like that kind of stuff will creep up over time, but overall you don't sit around practicing rushdown all day. Setups though can be pretty in-depth, especially depending on your character. Like if you play like a simpler character, you might not take too much time on setups. But if you play like Amelia, Zato, Venom, Jacko, you are spending a lot of time on setups, and you will probably be crossing over into the development area, because setups for that type of character can always be better. Like there's always something more you can do, sort of thing. So the Milia example would be something like the garden setups that I use, that I obviously fucked up. So this garden setup did not. So this garden setup did not appear overnight. It took a while to get to this point. Or like some of the Chroming Rose setups people use, the disc setups people use, like that shit did not come around overnight. It took a while for people to figure that stuff out. The setups that Venom players use, they did not come up that shit overnight. It took them a while to figure out what to do. Stuff like safe jumps are pretty easy to figure out. Like safe jumps have been in fighting games forever, and simple characters you can figure out your safe jumps pretty quick. But if you play a more technical character, you will spend a lot of time, hopefully, on setups. either practicing other people's setups or coming up with your own setups. Coming up with your own setups usually means is definitely problem solving, because if you're coming up with your own setup, that means you have a problem that has not been solved by someone else's setups. That's why, for example, in my case, I have had to create a bunch of setups because what other people were using did not work for me, right? So in the end, like, you don't have to do everyone's shit, but you just have to get to a point where you do stuff that's comfortable for you, that handles the problems that you have, right? Another big one that you will work on forever and ever and ever, this is one of the big open-ended things, is the defense. Yes. Defense, defense, defense. Defense. I don't think most people practice defense, and that's kind of important in this game, especially depending on where you're coming from. So honestly, in my opinion, I think that... Why does this thing keep fucking... Wargate is happening again, I think. In my opinion, I think a Street Fighter player coming into this game has a better idea of how to defend in Guilty Gear than someone who, let's say, plays Persona and BlazBlue. Why is this fucking happening? Anyway, what was I saying? Wait, what? Am I player 2? What the fuck, actually? I wonder if it's a power issue. There we go. What was I saying? Yeah, someone who comes from Street Fighter probably has a better idea of how to defend in Guilty Gear than someone who came from Persona or BlazBlue. Mostly because, like, let's say a BlazBlue. Let's talk BlazBlue a little bit. You can become very fucking good at blocking in BlazBlue. BlazBlue defense is a lot about subverting your opponent's offense. What does that mean? You can react to a lot of the stuff your opponent does, so you can just block it out. And if you become really good at blocking, you kind of negate some character's offense. I've talked about it a little bit before. I don't want to go too deep into it. But if you play BlazBlue and you go to Guilty Gear and you are sitting here trying to block and react to everyone's offense, you will die quickly for many reasons. One, there's risk gauge, so the game punishes you for blocking too much more than one way. If this bar is filled a little bit, you take more damage. If it's filled to 50%, you take more damage and you're in counter state, even on normal hits. This is a standard system information, but it is important to say that again in the context of what I'm talking about. Two, there are many characters in Guilty Gear that have things you cannot react to. Milia, of course, there you go. Three, a lot of characters, and Elphelt, this is a reason why I picked Elphelt. Elphelt, and she's not the only character that has this, but she's a really, really good example of this. Elphelt has a bunch of offensive tools that, if you look at them individually, there's an answer to everything. So I put her in shotgun specifically for this too. So if you look at P, S, H, and D, individually they all have answers. Oh, and K. Individually they all have answers. But when you put them together, everything comes so fast that it is very hard, extremely hard to react to it. If you try to sit and wait for one thing and it doesn't come, you're getting punished for blocking, and she's getting a lot of meter. So then you think, oh, then I have to anticipate something. And if you anticipate wrong, you get hit, and the punish is very high. So you can't just sit there and block it out. This game encourages a more active defense, which I think if you are a BlazBlue or Persona player, it really does complete your defense. Like, if you're really good at just sitting there and blocking, then playing Guilty Gear will give you that complete more, like, oh, sometimes I should FD things, sometimes I should IB, sometimes I should normal guard, sometimes I should mash, sometimes I should backdash. Like, it really completes your defensive set. So, going back to my original point, you have to practice defense because there's not only many types of offense that the opponent can throw at you, but there's many types of defensive options you can use depending on the opponent's offense. And not only that, but different characters will present different types of problems. Like, Milia does not really present the, oh, I'm doing a lot of things that have answers, but you have to anticipate kind of thing. Milia has pretty much unseeables. That's her mix-up thing. Unseeable, you have to guess. And her actual rushdown is a kind of, how are you going to choose to defend? I can stay plus if you choose the wrong thing. It's kind of different than like Elfelt's. You can't react to my stuff. Like it's just a little bit too fast, so you gotta make a decision, and if you're wrong, I hit you, kind of thing. So labbing your defense is pretty important because having that little extra piece of information on how to defend something can be make or break. Like for example, I'll use a Faust example. I like using this example. Or actually, no, I will do something better. Let's do the character that a lot of people like to. You get a little hint. This is an easy example of defensive knowledge. Defensive knowledge, okay? Oops, here we go. Is she close enough? No, I gotta be close. Oops. I'm not a jam player, obviously. There you go. This is a pretty common jam string. So I'm gonna try to get out. Oh, I got hit, right? Oh, what? I did. Oh, my bad. I jumped too early. Got hit. I got trade, not the best trade. Hit, right? So I'm getting hit. It looks pretty tough. I don't FD fast enough. Like, oh, like what do I do? What do I do? Whoa. I could do this every time. But if I FD, I get caught, right? And you can't mash. Can't mash, can't FD jump, can't roll. IB the second hit. IB the second hit, you say that, but that's legit. I could IB the buff ball, that's true. But after far slash, she has a lot of options. If you try to IB something else and she does puff ball, you are going to be locked out of that instant block. And you're like, oh shit, the thing I was looking for didn't come, instead she did puff ball. In this situation, I don't need to IB. I can just normal guard and get out anyway. Right? About to find a counter this JP tech. I was doing this all day last time we played. So this is an example of just like, this is one small example. There are many examples of stuff, little things like this where like, oh, the opponent can do these things. These common options all lose, but there's one option that beats a ton of stuff at the same time, for example. You gotta kind of go in and like look for these kind of things. Jam was an easy one. Faust is another one. I'll do one more. I'll do one more. I'll do Faust because I like the Faust example too. I like this example a lot too, to be honest. So why not IB that string and jump out? Like I just said, she has a lot of options off far slash, right? I picked the wrong song? What the fuck is this song? She has a lot of options off far slash. She has many options. She has a lot of special cancel options. It's jump cancelable, and she has a lot of Gatlings off it too. So if you are looking for one of those other options and she has puff ball instead, and you try to IB that, you will be locked out of your instant block. So when you instant block, but you don't actually instant block something, the game won't let you instant block for a little while. It's 30 frames. So rather than trying to focus on instant blocking really hard and missing it, it's easier to just normal guard and if you see the puffball, make an action. So here's another one. Here's another one where, another situation where I would prefer to, this is actually pretty good because it's about defense. This is another situation where I would rather normal guard than instant block or FD. I gotta make sure I set it up right. And for this, I'll set up a recording. Okay. What's the item zone? Okay. And whoops. Wait, what the? When you don't know where's the move? Aha. Okay. So I have Faust set to 3. I'm gonna set it to a random recording. Oh, he's too close. I think I'm too close. Hold on. Yeah, I was too close. Okay, that's fine. I missed it. I fucked up. What? Okay. There we go. I did something. So as you can see, I am... Oops. Normal guarding on purpose. I'm normal guarding on purpose because this is a little intricate, but because of the attack level on 2H plus the startup of his specials, I can choose to always buffer a dash on normal guard if I want, and it deals with a lot of options. But you want specifically to normal guard because if he's a little too close, and you IB, for example, and you try to dash after the IB, the pogo will hit you. But if you normal guard, the pogo won't hit you. The only way you can hit the dash is by delaying the pogo. Which he can do. That can happen. But it's a not common option. It's actually a pretty rare option. So most of the time, it's pretty safe to just normal guard it and dash for Milia. That's another example of like a defensive situation that happens all the time that you can lap up. So when you're trying to problem solve, you're trying to figure out like what's the best way to guard, what's the best way to deal with this situation you see often. Next one. So actually this is pretty good. I might as well just stay Faust. The other hard thing, the thing that is not obvious to practice, but you should practice, is of course neutral stuff. This can be like honestly anything, but anything from just like hitbox interactions to just like how do I deal with this common movement that people do. So for example, a tough thing for Milia players to deal with in this match, I'm just gonna stay on Faust, is the drill. The drill is good. It beats far slash. It's a pretty good move, but there's also a bunch of ways to beat that move. You could be like this. You could beat it like this. You can be like this. You can be like this. You can beat it like this. You can beat it like this. There's a lot of fucking ways to beat this move. You can beat it like this. You can beat it like this. There's many ways to beat that move. Or, oops. Okay. You could run under this, or oh shit! I thought it would win at that range. There we go. There we go. Talk about hurt boxes. But of course, you would have to play to figure out what you have problems against in the first place. That's the main thing. And usually what will happen, at least this is what happens in my case, I have to play a matchup a good amount before I start seeing, like, let's say a consistent theme in the match, oh, for example, like Jam is very fast. Jam's almost as fast as Milia. Jam has a lot of like strong special moves that she could like, and strong moves in general where she can kind of just dice roll, and if she's right, she gets a lot of damage and puts you in the corner, and her rush down's good. Like, how do I deal with just neutral? Like, her rush down is good. Like, there's nothing much I can do to make Jam's rush down less good. So how do I avoid that good situation for her? That answer does not come very quickly. You have to play, plus think about it, plus go into training mode and see like what beats what. But after a while, you could get to a point where you're like, oh, okay, I have an idea of how this match up should go. Right? Alright, is there any questions right now? So the summary of that is like, you do combo practice, offense, setups, defense, neutral, and development. So I think the last three are things that people don't do very much. The first three are things I recommend all beginners do outright, and I think a lot of mid-level players do, but then kind of neglect training mode after they do those three things because they think they're done, you know. What are the last things? The last things are neutral, defense, and why am it's right in front of me. Why don't I read this paper? Neutral, defense, and drumroll development. Like character development, like outright coming up with new stuff for your character as you need it. I wish I could ask you questions, but the answer would be you have to experiment. No, now's a good time to ask questions. I'll take like a couple minutes to ask questions before moving on a little bit. Hotashi, your question does not fit into the kind of what I'm trying to talk about here. That's, though, I will say. You're talking about like matchup specific shit. I'ma just steal Jun stuff. Yeah, I said questions, but like about the stuff I just talked about. Yo, I got 69 subscribers. Yo, okay, let's not get that distracted. How do you practice neutral? Just play games and focus on something specifically playing. That's a pretty big talk. That's a pretty big talk. The best thing I could say, neutral is like its own fucking episode. To be honest, it is one of the biggest topics you can talk about in a fighting game is the neutral game. To be honest, you know what? I'll talk about that next week. I will, on Thursday. I'll talk about that. So, for this stream, like, I prepared for it. Like, I wrote down a bunch of shit. When I move on to the second half hour, mostly I'm taking this time, like I said, to answer any questions about what I talked about just now. And for the next 30 minutes, I'm actually going to, like, lab something, and just show you kind of, like, how I would like approach a problem, right? Climber Street Fighter, defending from throws seem risky in this game. How would you say is the most effective ways to practice teching or avoiding throws? Okay, I'll take this question. Throws, I think it's easier to defend against throws in this game than Street Fighter because you have more options. Because you have like OS throws, because throws are 1 frame, so they're very fast, so you could throw the opponent first. Obviously they could bait that, but you have things like fuzzy jump and fuzzy mash to help you out. So you have like more options than just like Street Fighter has fuzzy jump also, but it's not. But you don't like get out by doing it. But in Guilty Gear, you actually like escape the situation when you do a fuzzy jump. So I feel like it's a little bit safer in this game, to be honest. Okay. I feel like, all right, one more minute. I'll wait 1 more minute. I did talk about a lot of stuff. I did talk about a lot of stuff. People who followed, definitely thank you for following. Yeah, I gotta bring up the thing that I actually wanted to. I mean, people have seen me lab on this stream before, but it's actually, I want to say, a little bit half-assed. Like, you don't see like my real trading mode session is fucking intense. Let's see here. What do I have to do? I have a couple of things. Yeah, the tutorial does teach you how to do the throw OS, but it doesn't teach you how to fuzzy jump. Let me see. Alright. Let me see what I have on the to-do list. I actually have to-do lists that I make so I don't forget stuff. Garden routes, mechanics. I know I have something here. Where did this thing go? Hold on, just give me a second while I bring this up. I'm sorry. Damage combos, garden memo, relaunch memo. GG. Is this it? Oh, this is it. Okay. Tandem machine, blitz. Mix up garden, mix up pressure. Gigantor, misfiner. Proxy memo. Let's countermeasure, Tomash countermeasure. I feel like okay, I guess I'll just keep working on the Final Frontier setup. Okay, yeah, let's just work on that. So like I said, for the second half of this hour or so, I am actually gonna lap something that I have been working on for a minute. So I will give you a little bit of background first. Who should I pick to do it? I guess I will pick Zato. Zato is good. Zato is good. I'll pick Zato. I'll pick a good song for a million for Zato. So I'll do one thing that I know will take a little while, and one thing that will definitely take a long time, and I will definitely not finish in this stream, but it'll be good to talk about. So, oh, I should say part 2. Let me tweet. I fucked up. I should tweet. Second half of live stream starting now. Exclamation point. Okay. So. If I say that you should come to training mode with a problem that you want to solve. So probably the quick question you would say is, what type of problem? That is not a dumb question, but also it is a dumb question. It is literally what type of problem you have. So for example, this is something that comes up in matches sometimes that kind of annoys me. So, okay, this is something that happens. So, look, this string is a pretty common Millia string, right? So actually, I should actually make it, let's do this. Oops, nice. Whoops. Oh my god, of course, when I want to show people stuff. Nice, Steve. There we go. So this situation happens enough that it has been in my head for a little while. So I hit him with Bad Moon, he blocks, but they freak out and they boom. Oh, I did it right on purpose. Whoops. I did it right by accident, I mean. That's not what I want to happen. Okay, there we go. So they get hit. Oh, it happened so fast I was not ready. So basically, like, this situation happens where, like, they kind of freak out and they burst my Lust Shaker string. Wow, I got so good at this new input that I can't make myself mess it up anymore. How weird. Okay, that should give me the way I want. Why is this happening? Okay, hold on. Okay, that should give it to me, right? Sorry. There we go. Okay. Yeah, that happens a lot. Like, usually what happens is, it just shows me mashing 2K. So I thought, man, how should I go about changing this? This is really annoying. I don't like this very much. There you go. What should I do about that? It's happened enough that I want to find an answer for that. I don't like getting bursted there, 1. 2, technically, the 2K, right, is fast enough that I should recover before burst. So it's like, what do I do? And the thing is, there is an answer. Oops. Did I not record it? I didn't record it. There you go. Why is it not recording? Oh, wait. Wait, yeah, why is it not recording? Okay. Oops. So there's a way you could input it where... Wow. There's a way you could input it where, I'm doing it too fast now, because, training mode. There's a way you could input it where you get FD if, for whatever reason, that happens. So what did I do to figure that out? Because there's a couple of things. So I wanted that 2K to, if that 2K whiffed, I want to guard. Now there is a special property on 2K where you could mash on whiff. So that's what's fucking me up. So I had to change my input. Basically, I had to find a way to get rid of that, to make that not happen. So if you see my input, look at the player 2 side, you'll be able to see how I went about this, right? Right? Do you see it in the top right? You see it in the top right? I end up holding the kick button after I do 2K. I'll do it again. I'd do it again if I could do this. Wow, holy shit. Today's not my day. Whoops. Just like that. Oops. So this is an example of having a problem I already figured out the problem, this one, so it did not take that long to kind of go through it. This is an example of having a specific problem, going into training mode, and like developing an answer. But, I already figured this out, so that was quick. So instead, I'm going to talk about something that I have not figured out yet. There's actually a few things I have not figured out yet. If you've talked to me about Milia or whatever, you kind of know what I've been aiming to go for as far as setups. So I've been through a few phases, let's say, of like Milia setups. So the first, and I'll like walk through it like quickly so I can get to the thing that like I'm trying to figure out now. The first was how to deal with Blitz. Blitz is an issue for Milia because if you think of Milia's goal is she wants to knock you down and make you guess, and you can kind of just inflict this on your opponent, then the opponent's thing that they can throw back at you is Blitz, and it doesn't matter how good the opponent is. Like you could tell someone who's new to the game to do Wake Up Blitz, and all of a sudden it's slightly more difficult. I shouldn't even say slightly. It's more difficult to mix them up because you have to account for Blitz. So the first thing I spent a lot of time on as far as Milia setups was coming up with counters to Blitz. For a while I thought the only thing to do is Secret Garden, but eventually I came up with not only Garden setups for Blitz, actually Garden just counters Blitz, I should say. That's probably the best way to say it. But a counter with Disc, because that comes up the most, right? So a counter with Disc, it means a lot. I'll do it quickly. I won't really explain it, I'll just do it real quick. I'll do the first one at least. Okay. I was just talking about this today too, so it also will test my Wake Up Blitz skill, which as we all know is pretty bad. Okay. I tried to do low blitz. And now I'll try to jump out real quick. Okay, so that's fine and dandy. Like I had a blitz safe setup. That was good, and I was happy. The next thing that came up was, this technically wasn't the next thing. I had this problem for a long time, was how to deal with dead angle. Dead angle was a big issue for a long time. Sort of a similar reason. It's kind of something that the opponent could just do and get out of Milia setups. And similarly to Blitz, if you dead angle a Garden, it's either even or the opponent lost. But if you dead angle a Disc, the opponent wins that situation. And I did not like that mainly because at that time especially, Elfelt and then later Johnny, they gained so much fucking meter that when I finally did get a knockdown, they had enough meter to dead angle, meaning they had super and blitz and dead angle, and it was a really big issue. But I came up eventually with some help. I came up with a solution for that as well. So I will do it. I won't explain it. I'll just do it. Okay, hopefully I did it right. I think I did it right. I believe in myself. I did not do it right. I think I did it right. What? Your boy, man. What the fuck? Actually, hold on. This is my real special technique is not showing things. Like, ah, check this shit out, and then I can't do it for multiple tries. Where am I messing up? Okay, that, I think I got it there. Am I really doing it that late? See, now I think I'm rushing it, which kind of sucks. What the fuck? Oh, okay, I see why I'm messing it up. I looked at my inputs. Okay, that should be clean. That should be clean. I wasn't doing it clean. Let's see now. There we go. Okay, okay, so I did it right. My input was not clean. Okay, so this is my going back. This is the setup I did for dead angles. Remember, like I said, dead angles is a big problem. So first, this is they do nothing, right? They do nothing. So I do 2K2S. They stand up. So yeah, my input was just not clean. It's my fault. I have not played. So that is if you do a fast dead angle. And this is if you do a slow dead angle. Okay, there we go. Yeah, if your input is sloppy though, you won't get it. The jump one is... Okay, I'll do it again. Yeah, my input was clean. Oh, my input was not clean. Yeah, I'm sorry for fucking it up a bunch of times, but that was the counter I came up with, or one of the answers I came up with for that. That's a really common situation. So pretty much the last thing then, pretty sure I did it right. So pretty much the last thing then, you might be thinking, wow, I'm fucking free. You might be thinking, okay, that's good and all. That's good and all. Like, you can be blitz and you can be dead angle. But what about someone who has 50 meter, but decides to blitz you instead of doing dead angle? And I would say you are pretty correct. Why am I fucking messing this up so many times? And I would say you are correct. And this is the last problem I'm trying to solve with Milia, is what do I do to cover both? There we go. Yeah, but if you get a hit, then what do you gain from it? Wait, what do you mean by that? Are you saying if you get a hit from the mix-up? Or are you saying, do you get a hit from the backdash? I mean, if they get hit, you just combo them and do another setup, you know? But yeah, so let me step back. So you might be wondering, yeah, it's nice that you could beat Blitz LK, or it's nice that you could beat Dead Angle, too, but, what do you do if they have 50 meter for Dead Angle, but they choose to Blitz instead? And I would say you were very correct for asking that question, and that is the last problem I'm trying to solve right now. That is the final frontier for Milia, is how to beat both those options. Because if you can beat both Dead Angle and Blitz at the same time, the setups you use to beat Blitz and Dead Angle also beat reversals and bursts. So that would mean then that she could beat Gold Burst, DPs, and all sorts of reversals, like less than 50 meter reversals, let's say, Dead Angles, and Blitz, and Charge Blitz, all with one setup. So that is the final frontier for Milia, in my opinion, and that's been the thing I've been working on and off for like the past month and a half, 2 months, trying to get that down somehow. Now on Slayer, I could already do that. I could already do it, and I already do this on Flare and Mei. I could do it on them, but that's because you don't have to proxy their dead angles. Their dead angles are so slow that you could just do something like, oh, he's blocking. You could do something like, so first I have to check to make sure I did it right. Was I not holding back? I hope I didn't like proxy by accident. Okay, just do it like that. Like if you get a hit on the mix-up, you just combo them. There we go. I mistimed it. That's what I'm saying though. I don't have it down. It's the only thing. Okay. There we go. I think this is the timing. This is the timing. Nope. But you'll see. I'll do Blitz just to show it. Just kidding. I want to do the charge blitz too. Your boy can't do wake up charge blitz. I really can't do a wake up charge blitz. So I didn't do it right. I didn't do it right. I'll try one more time. I hear talk of TK Badminton being taken out. They changed it so that if you do it really high, it hits differently. That's what the patch notes say. Okay, there we go. Got it that time. So of course if I do a single blitz, the same thing's gonna happen, right? If I do a single blitz. Ah! There we go. Can't do anything, right? And then gold burst would be same thing. Fast dead angle. That was the fast dead angle. This is a slow dead angle. Did I get it? I didn't get it. But like I said, that one is not complete. So this is the example of like a problem that I need to solve, that I would like to solve. Right? A problem that I would like to solve. And this is the kind of stuff you can do in training mode too. So obviously I'm not going to figure it out in like 4 minutes. I could give myself a couple of extra bonus minutes because we started late. Obviously I'm not going to figure out something that huge in like 4 minutes. Like it'll take a significant amount of time to work that out, how to get it stable and stuff. But like I said, if you could think of something where you're like, man, this guy always does like X, Y, Z in this situation. Like, is there something I could do about it? There probably is something you can do about it. So you can just go and take the time to figure it out. Is there any questions? So after this, I am going to talk about the change notes again. After this block. I really wanted to use this episode for just explaining what you use training mode for. This is kind of like episode 0. Next week, I will talk about neutral sum and actually do like real lab work. Bless you. Excuse me. And also another thing I want to do is, excuse me, sorry. While I said that wrong. I want to also use this as a sub incentive too. If you're a sub and you have something you want to lab and you want help, actually let me know and we could do it we could do it on this stream, during the lab stream on Thursdays. Have about an hour to an hour and a half to do it. So that should be fine. This option is available for subs specifically. It just has a nice little incentive for subs. This is going on YouTube, by the way. This every Thursday will go on YouTube, 100% for sure. But only like so that whole part at the beginning talking about the change list will not be on YouTube. It will be just the lab stuff that we've done for the past like hour. But yeah, any questions? Any questions? Any questions? 69 subs though, damn. So yeah, no, I did my YouTube channel is just all Miliatech recently. It's all Miliatech, just like combos and like random little things I find and blah blah blah. And please, so don't feel bad if I don't answer your unrelated to training mode questions for like the next 5 or 10 minutes. By the way, I only want to answer questions about what I talked about. That's what I'm going to be prioritizing right now. At like 10:05, I will take like a couple minute break and then like go back and address other stuff. Do you think doing this stuff would be a lot easier if you know Japanese? Are you talking about labbing? Because I have the Japanese version, I can read all this shit. This is not runes to me. Like I can read it. But damn though, damn nothing. That was I mean, if this all makes sense to everybody, then that's cool. Actually, I'm actually kind of happy. But if there's something you might have missed, did not understand, then I mean, feel free. Like now is actually the best time to ask, because I'm about to talk about the change list and Fire Emblem for the next like two hours or something. After getting a drink. There's probably a good amount being found out and shared around JP sites. To be honest, Japanese Milias don't... so Nakamura comes up with a lot of stuff. Jun is like a combo monster. But for the most part, I have the feeling that a lot of the stuff that I have found is just stuff that like I figured out. Especially after like a certain point. There's not a lot of Japanese Miliatech just kind of floating around, and when you watch matches, everyone mostly does the same thing as far as like tech and combos and stuff. Some things kind of line up a little bit, like the anti-blitz I showed earlier. There's actually another way to do anti-blitz that I didn't show. I kind of showed it though, but right around the time I was kind of like, oh, you could do this. I noticed Japanese players were doing it too, and I was like, oh, okay, so like this is like legit. That's happened a couple of times. But overall, stuff like the mid-screen relaunches, the garden setups I use, the Chroming Road setups, I stole a couple, came up with a couple. Offense is stolen or expanded upon, like, it's been a mixed bag. It's been a mixed bag, I would say. How long do you lab on average in a day? I don't actually lab that much on a normal day, but usually on Sundays I don't play matches and I only lab. So that day I could do lab for like 5 or 6 hours, but I don't play any matches. But it's just like a culmination of everything I took down during the week. I have like a bullet point list of like stuff to look for and stuff and figure out, and then I try to like figure that stuff out. The thing you said about defense being all about knowledge is something I thought about in V7 applied to GG, which made me really happy. That's cool. That's cool. Defense is extremely important in this game because it's more active. Like in a Persona type, in Persona, you need like to be able to react to a lot of stuff and then be willing to gamble sometimes. That's the important thing in Persona. It's like you have to be willing to gamble. In BlazBlue, it's important. Oh man. Stuffy nose, sorry. Yeah, in BlazBlue, it's important to be able to react to stuff. Offline is like, you gotta be able to react to stuff. Because if you can block, you can really subvert a lot of the character's offense. But in this game, it really, really helps to have a good, complete knowledge and active defense. Is it possible to have a unique playstyle in GG but still play optimally? One thing I like about Smash. Yeah, you definitely can. You definitely can. I was under the opinion, since we mentioned Persona, I was under the opinion that in Persona, I think there's a best way to play each character in that game, but I don't really think that in GG. Maybe a couple characters in GG, there might be like a best way to play. Like Amelia, I kind of feel that way, but not totally. But for the most part, the characters are unique and open-ended enough, which is interesting because some characters are like seem a little limited, like in Gatling options and stuff. But it's open-ended enough that you can play them multiple ways, and they're all valid. There are many characters like that, like Kai, Soul. Like there's a lot of characters like that. This is a game where you have to play against multiple people who play the same character to get really good matchup knowledge. There's not that many matchups where you could just find the best player of the character in your area, play them, and just be good. Because that's what you would do in another game, right? Like you would just find someone who plays the character really well, play against them a lot, and you're like, oh, I know the matchup. But you can't do that in this game. You cannot do that in this game, in my opinion. And I think that's a really good part about the game. Yeah, if you're new and you think your question is dumb, definitely ask a question because your question probably is not that dumb. Just saying. If it's dumb, I'll tell you it's dumb, but I'm also telling you your question probably is not dumb. If not, then in a couple of minutes I am going to move on. I'm going to talk about these patch notes. They are probably actually done translating all the patch notes. So I'm gonna fucking have the time of my life in a couple minutes. I'm just gonna need a drink for this stuffy nose.